saying. Amen, amen, amen. Yes. This is the month of July. It is the beginning of the last part of the year. And all of us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines know that this is the election season. Some time ago, one of the ministers of government said that after Carnival is the silly season. Well, I know the people of Happy Hall and West Kingstown, they are not silly. So this is not the silly season for you. This is the season of reason, so you can make the right decision when the time comes to select a representative and a government for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So this is not silly at all. This is time when you have to put your head on, keep on your thinking cap, and do not allow anybody to deceive you by any means to get you to do that which you're not supposed to do. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we need a change of administration. We have an administration in office for more than 24 years. And when we look around, we can see that they are tired. We can see that they have run out of ideas. We can see that they're not meant for the betterment of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, nor for the good of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In this very community, if you look, it was in 2016 or 17, they started the road from hospital to come to Edinburgh and Otley Hall. That's about 8-9 years ago. And up to today, they only can reach Edinburgh with the road. If you have a government who will take 8 and 9 years to fix a piece of road that short, you know that that government time is time to go home. Look at the state of Otley Hall and the roads in Otley Hall. Go through Middle Road. Look at the deplorable state of the road. And then you will know that if a government is in place and leave your community to deteriorate like that, then it is time for them to go. So this is the time for you to think. But I know in West Kingstown, you have a representative that you have been supporting for the last 3 terms. And I have no doubt in my mind that you will support him this time, because this time he will be in government to do for you what he couldn't do for you in opposition. But you will hear more of that as we go on a little later. But at this time, I want to call to the microphone our first speaker. He is no stranger to you, no stranger to West Kingstown, no stranger to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He is a cultural icon, a Calypsonian. They call him a king, but they never give him the crown. Put your hands together and welcome to the microphone, Brother Robert Patches Knights King, anything you want to call him.
Thank you. Hello, Otley Hall. Hello, Otley Hall. Right, let me hear you kids. Folks, we are not here to mislead anybody. We are not here to bully or mama guy anybody. We are merely here to encourage you to let Ralph Gonzalez, his friends and family, walk the streets of Kingstown and St. Vincent the Grenadines like ordinary people, and no more no blinking king or no massa. Time he walked the street like Tom, Dick, and Harry. Folks, this country is a special kind of place. Like Abby just say, something ain't real about St. Vincent the Grenadines. You know, the privileges and opportunities that especially our young people should be given, it's absent. Right down here, there is a marina that could create hundreds and hundreds of jobs for the young people of not just this area, but throughout St. Vincent the Grenadines. The brainchild of Mr. Mitchell. Yeah. Folks, let's not take anything for granted. Let's not take anything for granted. Mr. Gonzalez said recently that people should be satisfied with what they have. They should be satisfied with the things they own. That is not so. He's not satisfied. His kids are not satisfied. His friends, although quite a few of them are millionaires, they're wealthy, they're well off, but they're still not satisfied. But they want you to be satisfied with a little bit you got. No. People have a right to be ambitious. People have a right to reach for the stars and beyond. I have had many opportunities to be a part of Gonzalez's regime. Because, as I said on quite a few platforms in the past, he has a brother called Ashley Gonzalez. We were very close friends many years ago. I used to visit Connery, sit down on his mother's sugar bag, eat hot bread with butter and sugar. I don't know if you all know about that when I was a boy. So I know Ralph Gonzalez, brothers, Ashley, and the works. But folks, over the years, I've seen and observed Mr. Gonzalez's attitude to our people. He do believe that he is a reincarnation, or he is a copy of old massa from Britain, them from France, them from Spain, them from the Netherlands. And as you know, he claimed that he's a Portuguese and he's smarter than everybody else. Those were the ones who had enslaved us. And Mr. Gonzalez do believe that he has some kind of entitlement to be the boss, the master of the people of St. Vincent the Grenadines. And now he's trying it on the Caribbean leaders. But I make no apology when I talk certain things. Once, I'm not defaming anybody. The crap of politicians in the Caribbean today, they deserve to be treated that way. I hold no brief for these people. I've been around. These people allowing Gonzalez to manipulate them, and they're bending down and bowing down like slaves. Me ain't been no big school, but I know that is not what life is all about. But nobody fooling me, carry me for no doggone ride. It ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen to Patches Nights. Gonzalez had approached me on several occasions to join him. He told me how the NDP is a bunch of comedy and the silly and Patches room at the table from you. What the heck Gonzalez could give me? A motor car, a piece of land, a couple of dollars. So what happened to your legacy for your picnic them? When you're gone and your grandchildren, treat your offsprings because of what you did when you go and join that wicked bunch of people. Any young person who claim they're educated and intelligent and go to be a part of Ralph Gonzalez's bunch or his gang, as some of we like to call them, they're dishonest. They're not patriotic. They're not well-meaning for the development and betterment of this country. They're there to fill their own pockets, to get more material stuff that they have to, as Granny used to say, dead and leave. That ain't happening to some of us. Life is more than that. If you live and you've seen how people die and leave bad legacy that the family will inherit after they're gone from this plane that we know as life. The advantages that is being taken on some of these people. The parents could have avoided it if they did the right thing. As you all know, I sing calypso and stuff like that. I had one last year called The Kingdom Must Come Down. I do believe deep in my soul that when the election is finished, the election that is coming up, the kingdom, the monarchy of Ralph Gonzalez, Camilo, Sabota, and the rest of the gang will come down, and there will be ordinary people in this country. I do believe that. And we have an alternative, a good alternative. We have Dr. Godwin Friday. And nobody come telling, well, they can't try that with me. Dr. Friday had no experience. What experience Ralph Gonzalez had when you got into office? What kind of nonsense is that? Who you could sell them kind of comedy things? Ralph Gonzalez got into office by hook or by crook. They block the road, they create mayhem, chaos in the place, and they got into office through that means. Now he didn't have no experience, so now he's trying that on us because we're simpleton. Oh, Friday ain't had no experience. Lika can't have no experience. Cummins ain't had no experience. Nature had no experience. Fist Bramble and so on and so forth. These are professional people. These people I call, they're all professionals in their own rights. They were working with people in organization before. Gonzalez was never in no blinking organization. He never had nobody to lead. I remember him trying to lead the Black Power movement, of which I was a part. I objected. I was one of the men who walked out of that grammar school hall. The board one. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about. But the grammar school used to be housed in a board building up where the present grammar school is. And we had a meeting there with the white. The EF to form a political party many years ago with Casper Landon and Henrik Rose and people like Dr. Kenneth John, Parnell Campbell, Ralph Gonzalez, etc., etc. And he wanted to dominate. And I said, that ain't going to happen. I don't want to be a part of that. So I walked out. And like I said, he forever believed everybody has a price because he said that with his own mouth. But me, I ain't got no price. And I do believe all the people who've been supporting the New Democratic Party over the years, regardless to your status, financially, economically, you should be proud of yourself and your dignity and your honesty and your decency for not selling out for $2. So folks, when the election is called and you go to the polls, make sure you register. Encourage your children to register. We want young men and young women to have a better opportunity, to have a better life. And I do believe that when the New Democratic Party get into office, things will change dramatically, drastically, for the better. And we will have a better country, we will have more opportunity, and people will live a better life. And all of this gang-banging thing that is going on, the young people will get an opportunity to believe that they belong. Right now, a lot of young people don't believe they belong. They're frustrated. They feel lost. They have no hopes. They don't want anything for $1. No, that must stop. And Mr. Cummins and Dr. Friday and Mr. Leacock, Nature, they will make sure that young people get the privilege and the opportunity to live a good and decent life. Is not allow nobody to hoodwink you with a couple of cripsy dollars. Don't allow it. Like I said before, I'm going in a minute. Like I said before, your legacy is important. Make sure you leave a good legacy, a decent one, an honest one for your children and your grandchildren. Folks, we hope that you would enjoy the meeting and you would have learned things that you may not be aware of. That is why we're here, to inform you about things you may not be aware of and encourage you to get rid of Ralph Gonsalves and his gang. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, that was the brother Patrick. Yeah, that was it's there. Very, very, very good instructions. People of standard, people of dignity, people who love truth, people who love the right. Whether you're rich or you're poor, you don't allow nobody to buy you because you are war created by God. Therefore, you're not in a shop. You're not for sale. Things in the shop is for sale, but people, you're not for sale, and your vote is not for sale. Your vote must be marked for what you believe in and not for what somebody can pay you. So keep voting for the right and never sell out to the wrong. The best prime minister that we ever had in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was Sir James F. Mitchell. He is the prime minister who did the most for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The most to bring people out of poverty. The most to allow people to own lands and houses and cars. He did the most for the Vincentian population as a prime minister. He is dead now. He has gone to the great beyond. But as Patrice just told you a while ago, is what you leave behind for your children. What type of legacy you leave for your children. Well, he has some daughters. And one of them is here with us tonight. One of them is here with us tonight. And because of the legacy that her father left, and because she believed also in the development of people, and she believed in good governance, where there is integrity and accountability, because those principles came from her father, still supporting the New Democratic Party. So tonight, put your hands together and join with me in welcoming Sister Louise Mitchell as she speaks to us.
Thank you, Brother Igel. Good night, good night, good night, Otley Hall. Good night, boys and girls. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I know that it has been a very long time living under the leadership of Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. But I'm here tonight to tell you something. One time is what? Another. After one time is another. I'm here tonight to let you know that the time of Ralph E. Gonsalves is coming to an end. Because it is the time of Dr. Friday. It is the time we are about to begin a new era in Vincentian politics. The Mitchell era is gone. The Gonsalves era, we are seeing it fade into the sunset. It is time for Dr. Friday and his new fantastic team. I'm here tonight to speak to you about an area that I'm particularly passionate about, and that is the area of fisheries and the blue economy. We all know how important the fisheries sector is to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is not necessarily important because of how much money it contributes to the GDP, but it is very important because our very health depends on the fish that we eat. And as the fish population depletes over the years, the health of Vincentians also deteriorates. The New Democratic Party is going to prioritize the fisheries sector. And in order to do so, we have determined that we are going to create a separate ministry for fisheries. We are going to be moving it away from agriculture so that it will have a pride of place in the macroeconomic development of the country. And as such, the Ministry of the Blue Economy will be there for the fisheries, the sustainable fisheries sector to be developed. Fisheries is not just important because it is important for our health and our diet, but also if we're to have a successful tourism industry, we need to have local good fresh fish. When the tourists come here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and they go down at Sandals, they're not going to be ordering lamb for New Zealand. They want to be ordering conch harvested in the Grenadines. They want to be ordering snapper from the waters of the Grenadines. So the fisheries sector is also critical because it supports the development of the tourism sector. Under the Ministry of the Blue Economy, the New Democratic Party will prioritize fisheries. It will also prioritize the safety of fishers. We will ensure that every fishing vessel in this country has a monitoring device so that we will always know where that vessel is at any given time, so that our fishers will be safe. We will also ensure that the fisheries infrastructure is improved. We have so many fisheries centers that are in deplorable condition. We have fisheries centers such as the one in Barley. When the fishers come ashore, there isn't even any storage or ice box for them to put the fish on. We will commit to improving the fisheries sector so that our fishers can feel supported, much more supported than they do under the Unity Labour Party. Under this Labour Party, what have we seen in fisheries? Recently, what we're seeing is much greater imports of fish from Venezuela and other countries. If you go down to the fish market to buy fish, you may not find local fish, but you will be sure to find fish from Venezuela to buy. That is us going backwards, not going forwards. We will give support to our fishers. We will ensure that there is a sustainability element woven into the development of fisheries so that our fish stock will be depleted. We will invest in things such as a conch nursery to help ensure that the conch population does not crash. In addition to fisheries, however, under the blue economy, we're going to be putting renewed emphasis on the development of shipyards and marinas. And the first shipyard that we're going to be looking at is rebuilding the Otley Hall Shipyard and Marina. The Otley Hall Shipyard and Marina is a project that used to bring in up to $3.5 million every year into this country. In 2018, the dry dock collapsed and it has never been fixed. This Unity Labour Party government has chosen not to invest in Otley Hall. Why do they not want to invest in a business that was generating so many jobs for this community and even for communities outside of Otley Hall? Why did they not want to keep and maintain this shipyard that was so desperately needed to service so many vessels that we have here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Is it because they wanted to diminish the legacy of James Mitchell? Is it because they saw this as an NDP project and they did not want to maintain it and see it thrive? But by seeking to allow Otley Hall to diminish and to be more and more degraded over the years, they're not punishing James Mitchell, they're not punishing Louise Mitchell, they're not actually hurting me, they're hurting this community. They're hurting the community of Otley Hall. Their own wickedness to not invest in this shipyard is hurting this community. And it's not to say it doesn't make economic sense to invest in shipyards, because there's great demand for the services of shipyards. When one of the Beckwith ferries would go on the shipyard, they would spend $100,000 in just 10 days. Right now, our vessels from Beckwith have to reach all the way in Trinidad to get their ships repaired. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we also have more yachts coming here than any other country in the Eastern Caribbean. But they do not stay long. After they finish their cruising, they have to leave at the end of the season and they have to go and spend time in Grenada, to a shipyard in Grenada, or they have to go down to Trinidad. If our shipyard here was up and running, they would spend a lot more time and a lot more money in the country. So under the Ministry of the Blue Economy, we are going to rebuild Otley Hall. Even when Otley Hall was at its prime performance, we still didn't even use it to half of its capacity. So when we rebuild it this time, we won't be creating 40 jobs like it had before. We'll be creating double that amount of jobs. And when we fix up the Otley Hall shipyard, we have to fix up the road to Otley Hall. So in fixing up the shipyard, we're actually going to be uplifting the entire community of Otley Hall. And as I mentioned before, Otley Hall Shipyard is almost 38 acres, and it has many buildings that were underutilized. We all know when we had Pirates of the Caribbean here, they were able to use those buildings. Why is it that the present government never found use for those buildings? Why? Because they tried to turn Otley Hall into a bad word, into a graveyard. However, we are going to ensure maximum production and productivity. We are going to create a pathway, a career pathway for Vincentians who are interested in the ship repair, shipping, and yachting industry. We are going to do this by establishing a maritime training institute at the same Otley Hall Marina and Shipyard. At this Maritime Training Institute, our young people who want a skill, who don't want to go and become doctors and lawyers, can go and get a certified skill where they will receive a certificate at the end. We will train them to be skippers. We will train them to fiberglass work. We will train them in navigation. We will train them in sail making. We will train them to fix four-stroke engines, right? We will give them all of this certification. We will train them to be skippers. So at the end of the day, we will have graduates with great skills that they can not only come back and work in the same Otley Hall shipyard, But if they so choose, they can leave St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They can go to Martha's Vineyards and get a job. They can go to Fort Lauderdale and get a job. They can go to Grenada and get a job in the shipyards there. They can go to Trinidad and work there. So we're going to empower our people with skills that they can use around the world, and also skills that would allow them to get high-paying jobs right here in this community of Otley Hall, so that if they choose to stay in St. Vincent, they can so stay in St. Vincent. So ladies and gentlemen, the blue economy presents tremendous opportunity for growth in this country. We have more seascape than landscape. So under the New Democratic Party, we're going to prioritize deal with shipping. We're going to encourage the development of more marinas. And in everything that we do, whenever we invite private partnership, we will first be sure to ask Vincentian investors to invest. We will not be first go looking overseas. I'm not to say that we will not want foreign investors, we will. But we will ensure that we have first exhausted the local investors and invited them to have a piece of this pie. Right? There's a lot of money to be made in shipyards. As I mentioned to you, one vessel alone on dry dock for about 10 days is $100,000 US. I want to close this evening my speech by thanking the Honorable Daniel Cummings for inviting me to give my maiden political address right here in the community of Otley Hall. I am so proud to be playing my small part in ensuring that we bring about change in this country. I'm inviting each and every one of you to play your part in this movement of change by going to the polls on election day and marking your X next to the New Democratic Party, so that together we can usher in a new season of light in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Remember how I started and I said, after one time is another. Thank you very much.
Oh yes, let me hear it again for Sister Louise Mitchell. Yeah, I told you that we're going to be bringing some hope to you this evening, because the NDP is the party of hope. You know, when you were little and you're home, you know, and mommy cook and so on, well, some of you still small around here, so you might understand too. Your mommy cook and it's for all of you. But you know, when you got your portion, and you want to go back and eat, and the others ain't get, they call you what? Licorice. Yeah, they say you're licorice. It is Sir Ralph Gonsalves and the Unity Labour Party. They are licorice. They say they want 2 terms. They get 1, they get 2, they get 3, they get 4, they get 5, but they're so licorice. They say they want 6. But I am saying tonight that the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines say enough is enough. You eat enough food. Stop this licorousness. And we are going to make a change so that not you only can eat food, but the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines must be able to eat the food too, because they too need the food to eat. Stop your licorousness and get out of the way so that St. Vincent and the Grenadines can grow, and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines can grow with it. Too much licoriceness in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You see, when I tell you this administration wicked, I ain't guessing it, you know. They're evil and wicked. When you look at the amount of waters we have, that we call seas, where you can catch fish, and when you hear that St. Vincent could only pull in a fight that has 30-something% less water than us, they are pulling in $100-something million a year. Yes, it's the wickedness of the Unity Labour Party, who will not put the tools in the hand of our fishermen so that they can do the fishing that will be able to bring monies to them, to the country, and to their family. But so much for that right now. Others still to come, and I won't get to walk up to Oli because other speakers are to come. So we're going to welcome a man who knows about fishing, because he's been fishing, not an old man, but because he got into the thing so young, he has been fishing for a long time. Put your hands together and help me welcome Brother Winsbot Harry, better known as Bob.
I often wonder, yes, I often wonder, what's the difference between the wise and the fool? When the wise live and die, likewise the fool. What can I tell you? Don't you know this is
Good night, Atley Hall. Good night, the people of Atley Hall. Tonight, I am here as a young man and a man that come from a poor family that rail up in West Kingstown, Rose Place, and Atley Hall. I had been a fisherman for the last 22 years. I had been molded and mentored from a great man, which is Robert Patches Knight. Under the training of Mr. Knight, y'all them said to me, you have to do what is right for the people, and you have to stand up no matter, as the tune say, a man is just a man. No matter what you are, rich or poor, you have to be a man, and you have to be someone who could speak for the persons who are willing to speak but not brave enough to speak. So I'm here with tears in my eyes. I'm here to speak about the concern that us, the fisher folks, are facing. And I'm also here to strengthen the call of our sister, Mr. Mitchell, that when we get rid of the NDP government, of the ULP government, when we get rid of the ULP government, the NDP government is a party that will as a young man railing up Rose Place, Atley Hall, there is a road that could link Gun Hill to Atley Hall. But over the years, we are seeing that road become a river. People who live on this side, anytime heavy rain comes down, it becomes a river. Under the leadership of Dr. Friday and Daniel Cummins, this river will be a road. So we are encouraging you to support the NDP and Daniel Cummins. But I will move into my field. And I will only focus tonight on 4 areas. And my main area is speaking about how the wickedness that they done to us, the fishermen of Rose Place, and how they destroy a whole fishing community and leave people without a bread. What they done to the people of Rose Place is by just giving them a handout of $1,800. What they done to the business, they did not give alternative livelihood. There are persons still that was not assigned to any boat in Rose Place are still without a dollar. The community of Rose Place, where we know persons who travel from Atley Hall down to Rose Place to gain an income and a livelihood, has all gone. The relocation of fisher folks from Rose Place to Lomans, brothers and sisters who are listening on Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, the situation in Rose Place is in a total mess. Sometimes you hear people say that there is no pitch latrine around St. Vincent and persons are now living in comfort zone. But for the last 3 years, we the fisher folks are in Lomans Bay without a washroom. Right now, sea cockroach is running on our bottom. Stone crab are biting some of us because the only way that we have to ease ourselves is to use the beach as a washroom. This is unacceptable. So when you hear people talk, you need to go down to Lomans Bay to see the condition that the fisher folks are living into. So tonight, we the fisher folks are calling for the Minister of Fisheries to resign. The reason why we are calling on him to resign is because he has been in the wicket for 25 years. He played Test cricket, he played 2020, he played 50 overs, but he has been failed to represent and to deliver of the fisher folks of this country. As I speak, most of St. Vincent and the Grenadines was affected by the income of the hurricane. There are hundreds and thousands of fisher folks who are still waiting on income support. I submitted a list of 10 persons that was affected in Rose Place. And up to today, no one has received any support. As a fisherman, and also a member of the Goodwill Fishermen's Cooperative. It is paining to see the way how the agriculture input warehouse is disrespecting we, the fisher folks. If any one of us are here tonight went to Fisherman's Day and we heard the address of the acting Prime Minister when he said our landing is decreasing and is down. The reason why is because since the agriculture input warehouse take over the Kingstown fish market, they have increased 25 cents on every pound of fish that we land. They send me a letter that we have to pay $25 to moor our boat. They close up the fish market on a Wednesday, 3 o'clock. They open the market only to sell ice on weekends during the carnival time for persons who are involved in carnival sales, and they're telling the fisher folks the market is not open for do business for the fishers. There's a new development within the fishing industry. 2 weeks after we celebrate our Caribbean Week of Agriculture, we hear announcement that we will have to import fish. We did not import fish throughout the region, but we went as far into the south. At the Kingstown Fish Market right now, it has been taken over by foreign vessels. Vessels from the south, vessels from Grenada, Petit Martinique, Trinidad. They are now competing with us, the local fisher folks, and we cannot even get our fish sold. While I'm saying that, to you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Kingstown Fish Market is at a threat. We have to keep the NDP in power so we can keep the Kingstown Fish Market for the local fisher folks. There is a new development that we are seeing that is happening in Calaqua, where Rainforest Seafood looking to open a fish market. My time is getting close, so I'm encouraging persons, so when the time comes, vote for the NDP to support and to keep the Kingstown Fish Market. Persons will not go to Calaqua at Rainforest to buy any fish. In closing, there are many fisher folks in Union Island who are still suffering. They are calling me every day saying that they need help to get the boat, to get the engine, because the packet change that was provided for them is not sustainable enough. But I say, with Dr. Friday and the NDP government, fishers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have to say enough is enough, and let us fire the Minister of Fisheries, because he has played tests 50-50, 2020, and he has not made any runs in his wickets. So I think it's time for he and the ULP to go. Thank you very much.
Get rid of them, man. Get rid of them.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Time to yeah, and they're giving me a 6 for 9, so we can't take that. We're more intelligent than that, so we have to get rid of them. We ain't want no pig in no bag, and we ain't want no 6 for the 9. So we're gonna have to get rid of them. Later on, I will make some comments on 1 or 2 things I heard there, but they say the NDP don't have young people. The NDP don't have any young people. The NDP has old people. Well, the youngest man in the Unity Labour Party is almost 80 years. Because he say he had the youngest brain in his cabinet. So if he had the youngest brain and he nearly 80, well then, it's real old men, they over on that side. But thank God the NDP been flooding with young people, so it's giving them a headache now. They don't even know what to do. But the NDP always have young people. But let me tell you something for the youths now. Now it's school time. And all you parents who watching me, you know the struggle you have when they tell you bring the thing for the book loan scheme. When you go, if you want 12 books, you might get 5, you might get 6, you might get 4. Sometimes they get 2 and 3. That book loan. But under the New Democratic Party, it was not so when it was introduced, and it will not be so. Get the books that are there for your children so that they can go to school and learn and ease the burden off of your pocket so that you can take that money, buy food and clothes, and give to the children so that they can be well suited, well fitted to go to school. They can have good food to eat so their brain can function properly so that they can come out of school well qualified. Under the NDP, that will happen. The parents know what they did 2 and 4, 5, 6 months ago when they had to pay for the subjects of the children. Under the NDP, all of that changed. The NDP will pay for all the external exams for your children. Reasons why you should vote for the New Democratic Party. So, I'm going to call to the microphone at this time a young lady who, because of the policies of the NDP, have decided that she must take her stand with the New Democratic Party. She will be a first-time voter. She is also a first-time speaker. She will be speaking tonight for the first time. So she will be now introduced into political speech. Welcome to the microphone, no other person than Sister Ariel De Freitas.
I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take her. Wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing? Don't you see what they have?
Good night to the people of Otley Hall and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I stand before you tonight as a vibrant young lady from West Kingstown, but more importantly, I stand as a voice for the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are tired of being overlooked and marginalized. For too long, we've been promised opportunities that never came. We've been told to study hard, get good grades, and things will fall into place. But after all the hard work, what do we find? Closed doors, dead ends, disappointment, conductors, and road workers. Every day, our young men and women roam the streets looking for jobs that simply country just to survive. And for those who stay, many fall into crime. Not because they're bad people, but because desperation has taken over where hope once lived. Mental health struggles are real. Depression, stress, anxiety, they are silently breaking many of us. And there's little or no support for the youth. Take a look at our society. Take a look at our society. Every day, there are new youthful persons wandering the streets who have lost their mental capacity. Is it because they're lazy or have no ambition? No. It's because we've lost all hope. No jobs, no opportunities. Our country has constantly failed our youths. I will be honest with you all. I'm not usually the type to be at the forefront. I prefer to stay in the background. But I realize it's a time for us as young people to stand up for ourselves.
Ndp people.
Nobody is coming to save us unless we make our voices heard. Let's be the Rosa Parks, the Martin Luther Kings, and the freedom fighters of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are the future, and we make the difference. And that's why I believe the New Democratic Party, the People's Party, the NDP is ready to create real opportunities, not just promises. We are ready to invest in skills training, entrepreneurship, sports, technology, and the creative industries. The NDP is ready to tackle crime and give the young people a chance at a better life. We need leadership that believes in us, and the New Democratic Party is that leadership. So I'm standing here tonight, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. I'm asking you, the young people of Otley Hall and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who will stand with me for real change and meaningful progress? Let's take back our future. Let's stand with the New Democratic Party and build the St. Vincent and the Grenadines we deserve. Let's get it done. Thank you.
Bro, this is a celebration song, you know, for when we win. You ready?
Yeah, I believe that change is coming, so me nah sit down. Don't tell me but ULP, NDP in my blood. My mom and dad voting next seat, I'm doing the same, and I like it. Yes, I like it. Some of my friends are voting.
Yes, I like it, I like it, I like that speech. You know, for a new person, a new kid on the block, put your hands together again for Sister Ariel. And I'm certain you will be hearing from her again and again and again before this campaign is over. Well, we have in our midst some distinguished people, so I just want to welcome them in a very special way. We have our two vice presidents here with us. We have Major the Honorable Sinclair Leacock, who is my own representative. We have Brother Nigel Nature Stevenson, who is the representative of South Leeward, the one that they can't crush at all. Nature just taking its course and mashing them up all the time. We have Brother Fitz Bramble from East Kingstown. Well, you know, in the tongue, we like the rock. They can't break through the rock. We're too solid for them. So he is the representative for East Kingstown. We also have our own, the chairman of the party, Brother Daniel Cummins, the waterman, who is washing away all the mess over here in the West. And just now, he's going to take everything and make it the best. Don't worry yourself. So he is here. We also have our candidate and the next representative for East St. George in our midst, Sister Lavon Villox, the one who will take out the Crown Prince and put him to rest. So all of them are here with us. I don't know if I missed any other MP or candidate, but as the night goes on, you will hear from them. Our public relations officer is right here, right over there, standing next to Brother Fitz, Sister Lavon King. Yes, our hard-working public relations officer. But they say we ain't got young people. Well, that one you must be old. Because if we ain't got young people and you so young, me, you know, they must get the age mixed up. So don't worry with them. But when you look at St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you must know things bad. When it taken a government 8-9 years to fix a piece of road coming over here, things bad. When they can't fix the road in Otley Hall, things bad. When the government, in order to get $49 million from $3 million, $3 million, you know, not 30, $3 million, and the government ain't have it, they have to borrow it. Things bad. So when you hear they're telling you that things good in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, yeah, it's good for them, but it ain't good for St. Vincent and the Grenadines because they're pocket fat and they're busting with fat, but you are starving and you're getting thin and lean every day. The country is going down all the time, but they're increasing. Why? Because they're sucking the wealth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nothing left. And that's why we got to move them out and bring in the New Democratic Party to rescue and to save St. Vincent and the Grenadines from the political and economic degradation that the Unity Labour Party has put it in. So at this time, I'm going to call to the microphone a former national footballer. He worked put your hands together and join with me and welcome to the microphone our brother from East Kingstown, the present representative and the next representative, Brother Fitzgerald Bramble.
Thank you. Good night, good night. Otley Hall! Otley Hall! Good night, good night. To my esteemed colleagues, Vice Presidents Major and Nature, Chairman Cummins, colleagues, Velox, any other colleague, candidate colleagues, the PRO, everybody from Louise Mitchell, who made an outstanding debut appearance here tonight. And by the way, me and Louise from Beckway, so I'll watch it. Brother Cummins, I am very, very happy and pleased to be here tonight to speak on this platform. Not only because of the fact that I respect you and I look up to you in many ways, especially in my career, my short career as a politician and as a parliamentary representative. But additionally, because West Kingstown, as you know, is part of the Kingstowns. We have West Kingstown, Central Kingstown, and East Kingstown. And I will let you know that I believe I bear the distinction of having to lay claim to each of those constituencies, because I was born in Bottomtown, I live in Mackey's Hill, which is Central Kingstown, and I represent in East Kingstown. So, just like Major and Brother Cummins, I carry in Kingstown upon my shoulder too. But I want to say tonight, because in the interest of time, I want to focus on two issues which I consider to be very burning issues, and which I believe are the issues which are most critical this coming election. The first has to do with our increasing and exorbitant cost of living. And the second has to do with the high an unacceptable rate of unemployment. And they are both inextricably linked. They are both connected. Are the two main contributors to the very poor state of our economy at this point in time. People of Atley Hall, I want to just have you reflect for a minute. Over the last 5 years, I'm not even going to go back 20 years. Over the last 5 years, look around in your community and tell me what has the Unity Labour Party government done to improve your lives here in Atley Hall? What have they done? Don't stifle your conscience, you know. Because if you lie to yourself, that is one lie that can't stick. And we don't know you can't fool God neither. And God knows that Atley Hall and West Kingstown and Kingstown in general have been neglected, to say the least, by this Unity Labour Party administration. Now, we have been experiencing very high and increasing cost of living. And there are very many reasons for that. There are very many reasons for that. But let me localize it to right here in Atley Hall. You heard Sister Louise talk about the Atley Hall Marina earlier. And I will tell you this. Without fear of contradiction. When the Atley Hall Marina, Brother Cummins, was operating at full throttle under the New Democratic Party's administration, the Atley Hall Marina was contributing more to the economy at that time than tourism and agriculture are contributing today. Think about that. The Atley Hall Marina was was sort of like a conglomerate of businesses. You had everything down there. People in Atley Hall were doing well. People from other parts of St. Vincent and the Grenadines were doing well because we had a thriving industry and it was contributing significantly to the economy. We have a new Kingstown port that they are building down there right now, down in Bottomtown, right down in the area where I was born. And I am telling, by the way, before I get into that, let me just dispel all this foolish notion and propaganda that the ULP propagandists are spreading to tell you that, oh, if NDP win, then I'm going to finish the port. Well, the good thing about it is that they realize that the people of this country will not give them the opportunity to finish it because they have confidence in the New Democratic Party's administration, which will be in government very soon, and we will finish it, and we will make that new Kingstown port work for us. When we went to Parliament and debated the bill to get the money to build the port, in my presentation, I asked the Minister of Finance to explain to the people of this country how is the new Kingstown port going to contribute to economic development. How is it going to help people to come out of poverty? How is it going to help people to become employed? Up to now, he can't answer me. Up to now, he cannot answer me. So, if we allow the Unity Labour Party administration to conduct the operation, to open and conduct the operations of this new port, you know what it's going to do? It is going to sink us deeper into economic hardship. Because, and I'll tell you why that will happen. Because right now, their major focus, I don't even know if to call it focus, but the major result of their mismanagement of the economy is an exorbitantly high level of imports into our country. Container boat coming in, bringing all kind of thing into St. Vincent, and we not have nothing for send back out. The New Democratic Party's government will make sure that we revitalize our economy so that we can have those same container boats. When they come in, they will be filled with Vincentian produce and products to take back out. Can you imagine in 2025, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is arguably the most fertile country in the Caribbean. They say if you plant a stone, it will grow in St. Vincent. And in 2025, our food import bill alone, the amount of money that we spend to bring food into this country every year is $600 million and counting. $600 million and counting. The other day I go in the supermarket and I could not find a tomato, a cucumber, a carrot that was grown in St. Vincent. When I pick up the bag of carrots and I see imported from Canada, I said, out of principle, I put it back. There's nothing wrong with Canada, don't get me wrong. I lived in Canada and I did well in Canada. But you can't tell me that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines today, we can't even grow carrots for feed we own people. And we taking our valuable foreign exchange to send overseas because here, the EC dollar is almost 2 to 1 to the Canadian. You know. So every dollar for every Canadian dollar for a carrot is 2 EC we sending outside. That is the impact that it is having on our people and our economy. So 2 things have to happen. We have to grow our economy and produce so that we can reduce the amount of imports that we bring into our country, and we can export and earn money to help our people develop themselves. The new port in Kingstown, if it is properly used and properly operated, you will see the wonders that it will bring to our economy. And the New Democratic Party will do that for you. And there are connections, as I said, between the high cost of living, because now when you bring in these goods from outside, you have to pay more money. Most of our inflation, most of our increasing and increased cost of living, it's imported. It's imported. And what compounds the situation now is that the Unity Labour Party government, they are not doing anything substantive nor substantial to help our local business people. They went and increased minimum wage to $50 a day. I personally think it's not high enough. I think minimum wage should be more. But when you're increasing minimum wage or when you're taking economic positions such as those, you have to be very analytical and calculated, because listen to what they did. They increased minimum wage to $50 a day. And you know what the result was? Businesses now had to make some decisions, because the businesses now had to find more money to pay the workers. How are you going to make that money to pay your workers? Basic economics. Your cost of operation go up, you have to charge more for your price. You have to increase your price. Basic. So you find local businesses now are forced to increase their prices to be able to pay the higher minimum wage. Or they reduce workers' hours of work. Or in some extreme circumstances, they lay off workers. Don't get me wrong, as I said before, I am of the view that minimum wage should be higher than $50. But you have to make sure that when you do that, you create the economic environment to enable the businesses and the entrepreneurs to be able to pay the higher wages. So when you come in Parliament 2 years ago and you increase the customs service charge by 1 percentage point, and you tell us, well, we have to increase the charge at customs because we have to make $11 million so we could pay our membership in the organizations in CARICOM. That was around COVID time. So they say, boy, we have to make sure we maintain our membership in CARFA. CARFA is the Caribbean Public Health Agency. So we have to have money to pay them to remain there. We have to have money to pay the Caribbean Emergency Disaster Agency, CDEMA, CIDERA. So the Minister of Finance 3 years ago, they came and they increased the custom service charge because they have to make money to stay in these agencies. They have to make $11 million a year. But I plan to take him on very soon, and I am going to ask him to report to the people of this country, since you increased the custom service charge, how much revenue has increased since then? How much revenue have increased? Because remember, you tell me, you're increasing it by 1%, so it could raise $11 million. So if that 1% increase is raising 20 million or 25 million, it means that you are exceeding your target. Now what do? Do you leave the 1% and use that extra money to do other things like help old people or the elderly, buy medication, or to help children with school books? Or do you take off the 1 percentage point that you put on 2 years ago and you ease the pain on businesses so they don't have to charge such a high price? Those are the kinds of sensible and practical decisions you have to make when you're dealing with volatile and small economies such as ours. You don't just go and raise minimum wage because everybody say you should do it and it will look good. You do it because the people deserve it, but at the same time, you do it so that you don't put people at a greater disadvantage in the end. Well, let me don't even talk about the NIS money. That is a whole nother thing. I'm going to leave that for Major, one of them fellas. But let me just finish up. I want to just touch quickly on the unemployment issue. So clearly, if your economy is not doing well, if your economy is not producing, there are reasons why that happens. Employment simply means the use of things, what we call resources, to make things, to produce. You could employ tools and equipment. You could employ your land and your natural resources, or you could employ people. So when we talk about employment, we are basically talking about people working. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I am telling you, some time ago, Camelo, the Minister of Finance came and talked about St. Vincent doesn't have an unemployment problem. And you can't find people for work. And our unemployment rate is less than 10%. Less than 10%, which means St. Vincent and the Grenadines' rate of unemployment is lower than the world average. Can you imagine that? Our unemployment rate is lower than the average unemployment rate globally, according to Camilo Gonzalez. But yet, when you say you're having a road cleaning program, at the drop of a hat, you could find 5,000-6,000 people for work on the road. So, where them people does be when they now walk on the road? If you follow what Camilo is saying, it means now that those people are probably working somewhere else, and when they are the road cleaning thing, they take holidays and come do that and then go back. It defies logic. Our young people are in desperate need of opportunities, and the New Democratic Party will provide those opportunities. Let me give you a personal example. We have said, and we are committed to building our economy on 4 pillars. 4 pillars: agriculture, tourism, the blue economy, which Sister Louise talked about earlier, and the new economy. It's some fancy terms, but they don't really mean anything that you can't understand. The new economy is basically the use of technology and innovation and your creative arts and sports and so on. I can tell you that this Fitzbramble here, had it not been for sports and the blessings of Almighty God, I would not be here tonight talking to you. I was the recipient of a football scholarship that took me to university. And it wasn't because I was any kind of special kind of, I mean, I was okay, I was an all-right goal. So that combination gave me the opportunity. But my ability as a footballer was basically because I was able, when I came up from Beckwith for vacation, we could have gone on Victoria Park and play. Now, you can't even go in Victoria Park and sit down and relax. The gate lock up. In Utley Hall right here, there's a playground. There's a playground in Utley Hall right here. Built by John Hahn. Thank you, Brother Cummins. How are the young people of Utley Hall benefiting from that playground? You don't think if we make that playground much more available and improve the quality, you put lights, you don't think you're going to have many more Fitzbrambles getting scholarship for going? They to come up by the hard court and watch fellas play basketball. I have a son who is now playing professional basketball in Spain. He got a basketball scholarship to go to university, and then he was able to do his master's. He has an MBA, and he's playing professional basketball in Spain. When I left here to go and work in the embassy under Sir James Mitchell in Washington, my son was with me, and he started playing basketball on a hard court in the neighborhood in Washington where I lived at the time. He is nothing special compared to the people, the young people. Hold on a second, I'll talk to you when I'm done. He is nothing special in relation to the young people in Edinburgh and Utley Hall. If they are given the opportunity to play on that hard court, you could have many other young people going with a basketball scholarship and playing professionally. That is what the New Democratic Party will do when we start to emphasize and provide opportunities in the new economy. Our young people will soar to heights that they never think they could reach. And we have the team to do it. I'm wrapping up now. We have the team to do it. You see the video the other day that's trending now when Dr. Friday said he has the best team ever? And I am very honored and proud to be a part of that team. We have experience, we have expertise, we have variety, and most of all, we have a heart for the people. That is the difference. The Unity Labour Party, and I will say this without fear of contradiction again, based on the ramblings, the recent ramblings of our Prime Minister, I conclude that our Prime Minister doesn't care about our people. And they could take me to task for it. I am ready to defend my statement. And I'll tell you why I say that. Do you remember a few years ago, our Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, was talking and trying to make a comparison and trying to belittle our then leader, Honorable Arnim Eustace. Ralph went and said, if George Bush come to St. Vincent, I'd be able to recognize Arnim. He tried to disparage our young brother and colleague, Dr. Kishore Shallow, by referring to him as the little black boy from North Leeward. I don't like to spend time on Ralph, but sometimes you have to say certain things to remind people and to emphasize. Now, if you are the Prime Minister of a country that is almost 100% black, and you are going to belittle and disparage our people like that, won't you conclude that he just doesn't care about our people? So my brothers and sisters, I am saying to you tonight, the New Democratic Party is the party to take our country forward. The New Democratic Party is the party that will be used as the vehicle to bring about the change that is needed in this country. In Utley Hall, 5 years ago, between 2020, when they had the last elections, and 2025 today, you, the residents of Atley Hall, you cannot identify one thing that the government has done in Atley Hall to improve your lives. And that is why they must go. Make sure you go out, register to vote, and on election day, make sure that you create history by sending this government, the ULP, home and creating the change that you need by voting for the New Democratic Party. Atley Hall, thank you. Good night. I love you. God bless.
Vote them out because they ain't working for you. They ain't working for anybody for you. We'll vote them out. Vote them out. That's what we're gonna do. Put your hands together again for our brother Fitz Bramble. Yeah, the economist. You see, that's why the NDP have such a team. Watch me. I could run the government better than Ralph Gonsalves and the Unity Labour Party. And I can't even get on the team. So that will tell you the kind of team that we have. And the other speaker, who I'm going to bring to you tonight, he too can run the government better than the Unity Labour Party. And he can't get on the force team. So that to tell you the type of team that the New Democratic Party has. And that is why we will win this election with your help. And by the help of God, so we can have a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And don't doubt it. They brought in, I don't want you all to forget, you know. They brought in rainforests to assist the fishing industry here in St. Vincent. I want you to check to see if any of the members of the Unity Labour Party have shares in rainforests. And all the concessions that they give to rainforest, who it is benefiting. If it is benefiting them, or if it is benefiting the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Check it out. They brought in Reno just before Soufre blow. They're making secret deal and give away almost 60 acres of land for only about $12,000 a year. That's an act of criminality against the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Don't forget those things, you know. And now, Reno, rather than looking for stone, what Reno doing? Reno taking the land and do agriculture. So we take the land from Vincentians, give it to foreigners to do the same thing that Vincentians were doing. You got to make them suffer for that. I have here tonight to come to the microphone, no stranger to you. Here's somebody who is well qualified in the area of health because he used to be, at one time when he was working with the Ministry of Health, he used to bring to us the health ward that used to come on 705. He is a former and he is now the Assistant Secretary General of the New Democratic Party. Put your hands together and welcome to the microphone our brother Harvey Farrell.
Nothing's happening.
Hartley Hall? I am going to be very, very brief tonight. The first thing I want to whole issue of the NIS and our pension. Now, folks in Hartley Hall, I know a number of you depend on the little road work whenever it comes out. And for many of you, that's your only income. But hear what? That comes how often per year? 2 or 3 times. Every time you get your, how much? 8 days or 10 days pay. From working in the road, you have to pay NIS. Now let me tell you this. When you make your contribution to the NIS, that is supposed to go for when you retire and you can't work anymore. But here what happened? Ralph Gonsalves and the ULP mashing up the NIS. But here what? For you to be able to get a pension on a road work, you have to work until you're 94 years old. So, does it make sense you pay NIS? Remember that, eh? Remember that. The next thing I want to touch very quickly has to do with young people and unemployment. The young lady who spoke earlier talk about how all they're telling you to do, the young people, they must work hard, go to school, study, and after that, you're going to get a cushy job. She told you how long they're waiting for jobs, right? Young people of Hartley Hall, remember that. Remember that, young people of Hartley Hall. How many of you have jobs? How many of you have jobs? But I'll tell you this, all of the ULP bigwigs, them pick me get okay? You could still wait. Done to you, young people in Hartley Hall, is that they make the entire country feel that you young people in Hartley Hall are worthless people. How could you accept that? How could you? Don't make them put you in any special bracket. Don't you ever make them do that to you. You do not have to do that. So, don't make any politician, any ULP politician label you. Don't do that, young people. Before I close, I want to just talk about that wicked vaccine mandate and how, but not only public servants who went home, you know. Not only public servants that went home. People in the private sector went home too. I am quite sure that every one of you in the sound of my voice know at least one person or one family that have been affected by that vaccine mandate. This wicked government sent home people, rob them of their salary, rob them of their jobs, rob them of their pension. How are they to survive? How are they to go to the polls this year? I want you to promise me one thing. Well, not me, yourselves. You are going to vote a government that will turn your life around. A government that will make sure that we have jobs. Daniel will tell you when he comes about what the plans he have to fix up Hartley Hall. I don't have to go into them tonight. Just enough to say that for you, especially you young people in Hartley Hall, you have to make sure that when you go to the polls, you vote Ralph and the ULP out of office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Farrell. Yes, I hope the people listening. ULP ain't good for we at all. ULP ain't good for us at all. So I hope you're listening because we can see the suffering of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The wickedness of this Unity Labour Party is well known. Brother Harvey just mentioned the vaccine mandate. And I said in the past, I will say again tonight. To go to a parliament like that which brought about the vaccine mandate, to force something that they call a vaccine upon the people against their will, or to fire them from the jobs if they didn't accept the vaccine. That decision and that, I don't even know what to call it, the drafting of that legislation could only take place in criminal minds. Can't take place in no ordinary mind. You cannot force people to put into their bodies things that they don't want to put. And now you did it. And the people suffer. And you realize that you're wrong. You still don't want to give in. The court say you must pay. You go and you appeal it. Now you're calling back the people. You know what you're telling them? Come back to work. But the years that you were out of work, you ain't getting paid for that. And all the benefits that you had before, you have to lose it. So you have to start from scratch. I am saying only criminal minds can do those kind of things. And we have to get criminal minds out of the governance of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the NDP and make sure St. Vincent is in safe hands as we move forward in the future. I have two persons to bring greetings to us tonight. And the first one I'm going to bring has been elected for the last 3 elections. He is very cool and quiet. Something like me. I'm real cool. But you know, when I talk, I'll talk like thunder, so all of them afraid my voice. Right? But he's real cool. And he moves so nice and you know, something like the breeze. You know, when the breeze blowing, it just goes to cool and so on. Yeah, you don't know, you only feel it. He got the most votes ever in an election in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Put your hands together to the man from the south, the one who is going to take care of South Leeward again in the next general election and put some licks as the Attorney General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to the microphone, Vice President, Brother Nigel Major Stevenson.
I am blessed. I am blessed. Every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest, every day of my life I am blessed.
Good night, good night. Good night, everyone. A very pleasant good night to the man of the hour, representative and chairman of the party, the waterman Daniel Cummins. I want to also shout out my vice presidential colleague, the major, the man who is solid as a rock. and also my brother and friend, one half of the Fitzgerald crew, Fitzbramble. But I ain't telling you who the other half is. Also, I want to say a very pleasant good night to the speakers before me. And Ariel, good night to you. You did a splendid job tonight for the first time. You made your debut. You were good. We're expecting more of you. And Sister Louise, I missed your presentation on my way up. But from all accounts, as I was standing around the place, I heard that you did a fantastic job. And bugging them all the way with what is going on in fishing. And a gentleman that I used to listen to when I hear health word in the morning, I know it was time to go to school. Harvey. Let me take the opportunity to say good night because I was told I have to come and give greetings. So I'm greeting everyone here tonight and take the opportunity to say thank you for coming out. Those of you who are physically here tonight and those of you who are listening to us via social media. The Nature Boy, you know, sometimes they ask, Nature, who is Nature? They say Nature from Camden Park. All right, Nature from South Leeward. And I hail from a constituency that has been totally neglected, like most of the other constituencies throughout this country. Whether it is a constituency that is held by the opposition, or even those held by the government side, the constituencies are neglected. So what it is saying is that all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been neglected by the Unity Labour Party, and there's only one thing for us to do whenever they decide to ring the bell, is go to the polls and make sure that they are no more. We're going to vote them out. We're going to get rid of them. I mean, we have been leading the way in South Leeward. The people of South Leeward definitely know how to have a good time and how to win. Nice time and losing. We have nice time, but what is even better than the nice time is when the results are being called and the Nature Boy is in the winning column. I am telling you that even the die-hard Labour people down there are now saying Nature is going to win even bigger. That is because even as we speak, they are still in two minds as to whether or not they want the gentleman to contest the next general election. Well, I don't know when they're going to decide their minds. But the way I see the Unity Labour Party is that it is like a team, like a cricket team or a football team, even a netball team. You have a tournament and you can't find a team, you pick a side. So essentially the Unity Labour Party pick a side for the next election to make sure that they don't lose by default. But just before I leave, you know, I was observing the lovely scenery, something that is used a kind of big word, the topography of the area. Look at the hills, look at the valleys. I mean, where we are, it is extremely cool because we are right at the valley and just down there is the sea. So what we have here is reversal of wind. So when one part of the land is cold, then if it gets too cold, we have the warming influence of the sea because we know that the sea takes a little longer to give up the heat. So it makes the temperature ideal. So you have an ideal location here at the hall. Those of you who have come around here and constructed your homes. But I want to ask you a question. How many of you who are now residents of Otley Hall, who have built your own homes systematically, bit by bit, how many of you were able to purchase that land before you start building? How many of you were able to do that? Those pastors who are honest would say that under the New Democratic Party, they realized that land was available in Otley Hall. And they came wrong. They clear up a piece of land, they mark that off, and they say, well, this is mine. Then they start to build from scratch. The New Democratic Party. And if the New Democratic Party was not good enough to say, well, occupy those lands, we ensured that every quarter you have materials. And I'm watching the materials they're sitting down on there. Those materials that you're getting only come on the eve of an election, the building materials. Under the New Democratic Party administration, you were able to get materials, building materials, to help you to build your homes every single quarter. But under the Unity Labour Party, that is not the case. Because as Major usually say, their modus operandi, whenever they give you something, it is because they are transactional. I like to refer to it as quid pro quo. They give you something, but they want something else in return. So when they bring the materials for you, they want to make sure that in exchange for those materials, you are going to vote for them. That is not going to happen under the New Democratic Party. We will give every person as they need. As they need it. That is what we will do. And we are not going to discriminate. We're not going to be asking questions or send people as if they're FBI or CIA to investigate people to find out who they're voting for before you can get some materials. That is not going to happen. We're going to ensure that the people that need will receive. So for that to happen, you must vote for Daniel Cummins and the New Democratic Party wherever an NDP candidate is put up. Finally, my friends, this is a bold statement that was made, I'm still on housing, by the Minister of Finance 2 years ago as he presented the budget. He said that the New Democratic Party gave lands willy-nilly to anybody. Paraphrasing him. And that is a philosophical point of departure from the NDP. What they're saying is that their philosophy is that you should not be given Crown land. How many of you listening to me tonight can just walk and occupy Crown land just like you were able to do here in Otley Hall under the New Democratic Party? Can you do that today under this administration? No, you cannot do that. Because it is their philosophy that they should be the owner, the principal owner of all the lands. And they give the lands to whomsoever they will based on their perceived political affiliation. That's what they're doing. They're transactional. The land belongs to the state. And the government of today is only the custodian. But the land is owned by the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and therefore they must not be denied if they are in need. And they said that was the last piece, but this is the lastest one now. School close. CXC, or CSEC as they call it today, just finished. Isn't it? That finished now? Well, it finished some time ago. And then what you're going to have now is, well, we're in July. Very soon they're going to have another batch of children who will be writing their subjects. But for those persons who completed their subjects, passed their subjects, how many of them were able to enter the job market? How many in Otley Hall you know that you sacrificed so much to send them to school, to secondary school and to college? Completed their tenure successfully and cannot find jobs. How many of them do you know that are in that position? A lot of them make their way onto the YES program, which is a temporary job. And I know people, a lot of people who are on that program, who are doing as much work as the permanent staff, or even more work, but they are getting very little pay. But do you know that their contract has ended? And the powers that be, through their agents, extended the contract by another couple of months. And I was saying to the people on the YES program, if you want to keep your job, you have to vote for the Unity Labour Party. Can you imagine this? These people working so hard. They have their qualification. They can't find a permanent job. The government gives them a temporary job. And not because, you know, they have their own resources to pay these workers. It is a sponsored program by the people, the government of people of Taiwan. And they're using foreign money and make this program a political program, saying to the people, if you want to remain in a YES program work, you have to vote for Labour. Well, I want to say to those persons who are in the YES program, what the New Democratic Party have decided to do is to make sure, and I heard Fitz talk about minimum wage, we will make sure that no YES program worker goes home with a salary that is lower than $1,000 a month. That is not original from the Nature Boy, you know. That is something, that is a policy of the New Democratic Party. And you hear this government come up with some programs, all kind of names they give to them. Well, they have set program where they're setting up all the young people, thinking that they're going to get proper jobs and only a temporary job. But then they have one that they call on-site, where they are asking private entrepreneurs to take on some of the workers. But they are paid very little. And they also want the entrepreneur to pay in its totality the wages and the salaries for those persons that they are taking on as apprentices. What the New Democratic Party is saying, we will encourage that kind of program, and you know, that is a program that they really steal from us, you know, and call it on-site. They stole it from us. But what did we say originally? Is that when you have people taken on by the private sector, whatever is paid by the private sector will be matched by a New Democratic Party government. So whatever you're being paid, we are going to ensure that you go home with double that. So they're going to pay you, but we are also going to match that. That is not going to happen with the Unity Labour Party. What they intend to do in and think that you should be beholden unto them. But we are saying it is enough of that. We have had exploitation of the Unity Labour Party for 25 years. It is time for us to rest that. It is time for us to have a reset in the running of the affairs of government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where everybody would be able to live a decent quality, a decent standard of living. That can only happen with a change of government. That can only happen with the New Democratic Party administration. So I'm urging you, whenever the election is called, go out in your numbers. Don't stay at home. Do not stay at home. Don't go hiding. Like I was talking to a young lady and she said to me, every time election call, I make sure nobody can find me. So who you expect to go out and vote to make things better for you? You have to take an active part. When you can't find a job, who is responsible for that? It is the Unity Labour Party. They're living life to the fullest, but you're catching hell. Time for that to change. Time for us to have a government that will have a more equitable distribution of the resources of our country. That government is the New Democratic Party. Thank you very much, Otley Hall. Thank you, West Kingstown. God bless you. And remember, the man is the waterman, Daniel Cummings.
Hurricane, he blowing, blowing, the man blowing, blowing, he mashing, mashing, he mashing, mashing. Come on, look how guns he mash up, yeah. Mama, look how guns he mash up, yeah. I say, look how guns he mash up, yeah.
Yeah, all they could do is mash up things. They can't build nothing proper. They only could mash up. Mash up the whole country. Yes, that was the Nature Boy, Vice President of the New Democratic Party, Honorable Nigel Nature Stevenson. And I tell you, in South Leeward, nature will take its course. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the same thing will happen. Because all through the country, from North Windward to North Leeward, from Kingstown to the Southern Grenadines, the winds of change is blowing. And soon when the bell is rung, and the day come, and you go to the polls and put your X for the key, then you will know that you have opened up a whole new future for St. Vincent and the Grenadines when Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday and the New Democratic Party and the Grenadines. Well, I have bringing greetings again, and this time, you see, we had one rose among some thorns before. We get a few more thorns, and then we get in another rose. And this rose is blooming and the East St. George constituency. Put your hands together and help me welcome to bring greetings from East St. George, the next representative of East St. George, the one who will be joy.
I can't dance like Daniel. Sorry. I can't make that one special. Good night, Otley Hall. Good night, West Kingstown. For those of you who don't know me by introduction, my name is Hazel Laverne Gibson Velox, and I am from just over the hill in New Montrose. That's where I grew up. So Otley Hall was our stomping ground. We walked over the hill every day during vacation to go to the beach. So I know Otley Hall well, but it has built up considerably since my days. Ladies and gentlemen, I represent East St. George, one of the most beautiful constituencies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I bring you greetings from the equally beautiful people of East St. George. But East St. George is not beautiful because of any development that goes on there. It's beautiful because that's natural beauty. Because as far as that constituency goes, it is one of the most rundown constituencies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But you know what makes it worse is that the representative for East St. George is the Minister of Finance. He holds the public purse, but he does absolutely nothing for East St. George. I have been lighting fires under him for the past 5 years to get him to do stuff, to do work and improve the condition of the constituency and to make people's lives a little better. So all of a sudden, 6 months before election, it's craziness. This road mash up, that road mash up. They're fixing everything one time. But here what? No money. They can't finish them. Kaliakwa, under repairs since November 2023. Every time you bring a question to Parliament, and I thank my dear friend Daniel Cummins, for giving me the opportunity to represent about East St. George Aston Parliament. Yes, I run things because you know why? I stop in this dynasty. Camelo not winning. East St. George. He not winning. The people know me. They know me. They feel me because I am among them. I live there and I walk and I meet them in their spaces. He sends people to meet them. Do you know after the last election, which he said he won, he didn't even go out to say thank you. It was on behalf of the Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, thank you. What a way to treat people. That is total disrespect and disregard. And when he becomes a government minister, it will be the needs of all the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what the NDP promises, that all of its government ministers are going to be working in the interest of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're not going to be fixated on fattening our pockets. Not when people are hungry and need to get their lives together and need to progress. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be working hard for our country. We're not going to be selfish about being in government because our program. So we need to stay here a little longer to implement and execute and bring our programs to fruition for the betterment of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There is too much divisiveness in this country. We are too divided. A country divided cannot develop as it should, cannot realize its potential. The young people in this country need to have opportunities to work. And this NDP government that is going to be ushered into government come next general elections is youth-centric. We have the youth at the forefront of our plans and policies. So we are going to make sure that the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines feel safe. They can come back to St. Vincent to help to develop our country. As it stands now, there is a brain drain. We train in people for export because they go and develop other countries outside. That's not going to happen. I just want to say a word here tonight. I sat over there on our material. Our material, it belongs to all of us. Government money buy that. And I heard a young lady speak, and I was moved by what she said and the conviction with which she said it. And I nodded my head in approval, and I said, this is what the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines need to aspire to. This is what is going to propel them forward, because they have to also believe in themselves and they have to believe in their abilities so that this country can develop with them as part of the development plan. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a real pleasure being here tonight. Thank you so much for having me. Good night.
Good night, sis. Yes. Yes, that was Sister Lavon Villux. The next representative for East St. George, just bringing some greetings to the place. You know, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is in a kind of bad place. Very bad place. Yeah, the program. But I'm saying hope is on the way, because the elections is just a couple of months away. So we will be able to change things. But I want to remind you of the fair, the West Kingstown Fair at Nutrition Center August Monday, the 4th of August, not August Monday now, it's Emancipation Day. So it's the 4th of August, whichever day it fall on, that will be. It's a Friday. That means I have to come and get my lunch early so that I could move on time. Yes, so it's the 1st of August. So you have to remember, as long as God spare your life, you got to be over there. You got to be a part of it. You got to come out, show support to West Kingstown and Brother Daniel Cummins, so that the proceeds from that will come right back to West Kingstown to help the people of West Kingstown who are in need and are not being helped by the Unity Labour Party. So remember that. You got to come on out, be a part of the action. Well, when I talk about action, the next speaker is a man of action. He is my chairman in the party, but I am his chairman in the constituency. But he don't come to none of my meetings that I have to check. I will have to check up on him. I'll have to check up on him one of these days. He and Fitz belongs to my constituency, but they don't attend any of my meetings in the constituency, right? I believe it's because they represent other constituencies. They think they don't belong there. This yes, so the man I'm referring to is the same man that you voted for the last 3 general elections. And you have seen his work in the constituency even while he is in opposition. Well, if he has been working for you in opposition without any funds from the state to help you while he is representing you, think about what he will do after the next general elections when you elect him, and this time elect him not only as your representative but as a minister of government who will be able to do things for you in a new Democratic Party government. Put your hands together. Welcome to the microphone, the one and only, the chairman of the New Democratic Party, the representative of West Kingstown, the Honorable Daniel, the Waterman, coming.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Tell me whom shall I fear? The Lord is my strength, the strength of my life. Tell me whom shall I fear? Hear me now. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Tell me whom shall I fear? The Lord is my strength, the strength of my life. Tell me whom shall I fear? Come on, Christians, step on the enemy, step on the enemy. Crush the serpent, trample the dragon. Under my feet, him under my feet. Under my feet, me say him under my feet. Step on the enemy, step on the enemy. Crush the serpent, trample the dragon. Under my feet, him under my feet. Under my feet, say him under my feet. Yeah. Come on, Christian. Trample the devil. Crush the devil. Come on. Listen.
Otley Hall, West Kingstown. That song touched me the very first time I heard it. It touched me in a very special way. Let me greet my colleagues, Vice Presidents Major and Nature, Parliamentary colleague Fitz, the next representative for Eastern George, my dear friend Lavon, Louise Mitchell, Ariel, my campaign manager for West Kingstown, and all of the people who have been part of this meeting tonight. My friends, in this here Otley Hall, I come to you tonight in this, the very first meeting of this election 25. I've chosen to come to Otley Hall because it has very special significance for West Kingstown. But tonight, I just want to do a bit of reflection on the road that we have traveled since 2005. You know that in 2011, the forces that be tried their utmost best to end my life in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I thank Almighty God and my family and the doctors who have worked on me 3 times to have me here today to represent you, the people of West Kingstown. I pledge to you tonight that for as long as the Almighty gives me the strength and for as long as you want me to be your representative, I have a mission that I started on. And by His help and your support, we will see it through. Here in Otley Hall, the young people don't understand the genesis of this magnificent development that we call Otley Hall. My brother Nature spoke to you about how John Horn made this possible. I want to tell you all something is good to know whence you came, to understand the struggles that took place. When people started living here in Otley Hall, there was one single standpipe there by Cassaman shop. One standpipe. And they used to have fighting day and night. John Horn, the representative, checked me in the Water Authority and asked me to help out. The lands belong to the Development Corporation, managed then by Claude Leach. And the Water and Sewage Authority could not give people connections unless DEFCO gave permission. And we worked together, Claude Leach, John Horn, and, of blessed memory, and myself, and came up with a strategy to ask all of the people who were living on the land to come to DEFCO and make a deposit as a payment, first payment on the land. When that was done, DEFCO said to the Water Authority, you can now connect all these people. I remember John Horn and I came into Otley Hall with nothing but tall razor grass going all the way down to Body Gutter. Scratched my skin all over. Our group retreat in the millions to identify where the road's going and where we'll run the pipe. As a result of that, the people decide, the residents of Otley Hall decide they will help run the pipes. What that meant is that in no time we got all the pipes in and every house that wanted it got a connection absolutely free. That is how water came to this Otley Hall community. Thanks to John Horn. My brothers and sisters, that hard court out there was built in John Horn's time. And it was one of the first lighted facility in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These wicked clowns in 25 years have totally destroyed that wonderful hard court. Completely destroyed. The floor is rougher than what we have here. The blockwork in the bottom is completely missing. The fencing at the top is non-existent. Only the posts for the floodlights remain there. Otley Hall, Edinburgh, I promise you, and I don't make many promises, I promise you that when NDP gets into government, within the very first year, that hard court will be rebuilt and lighted for the people of West Kingstown and whoever want to use it. Because I understand the value of that facility on helping the young people to have discipline and respect for themselves and the rest of the community. The playing field started by John Horn at the end of this road. So much more that should be done to it. Look at, I wonder how many of you ever go and visit that police station not far from here. There's not even a sign to say that that is a police station. The police officers are living in the most derelict of conditions. It just looks like a place to house people where they can sleep and eat. A police station must have a greater impact on the community. Clowns, they do things for show, not in the interest of the people. Let me tell you, Bob told you, Bob, don't mind if I call you, that's your name, I remember you. About that river that's coming down. Many a day, I walk that place and broke my tail, literally. Because when it's wet, it's a horrible clay that's very slippery. But a lot of people don't know it's a very short distance to link the road from Gun Hill that you can come straight down here. The police themselves said to us that if that road is built, it will help them to stop crime because criminals do their thing and escape up there and they can't follow them. It's a short piece of road to be built. And on the other side, if you come down that road, you go up on that ridge. That gives you a 360 panoramic view that has the potential for another tourism project. The people who come on the cruise ship will be delighted to go up there and take out the spyglass and have a 360-degree view. On top of that, you, the people of Otley Hall, could sell food, you could sell drinks, you could sell arts and craft, because every tourist that comes here on those ships wouldn't want to stay there. When you have the easy access road, they will all visit that spot. It is so magnificent. You, Vincentians, will be proud to go up there as well and have picnics. That project will be done under an NDP government. You heard Louis Mitchell tell you about the Otley Hall Marina. My friends, many people don't know of the capacity of that facility. In the 1990s, when I was in CWSA, we hosted the one and only Caribbean Water and Wastewater Conference here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And around the Caribbean, people still talk about that particular conference. It was held at the Otley Hall Marina and Shipyard. We were able to modify that big building and have the conference there. with all the people who bring in the pipes and fittings and all of that, and to have all the conferences dealing with solving water problems right here in Otley Hall. So when we talk about re-establishing Otley Hall, it's not about going and dumping stone down there. It's not about carrying the water tanks and leaving them to rotten and the people can't get them. It's not about taking out the steel and selling it. It's not about leaving the beautiful. Listen, Otley Hall was designed and built as state-of-the-art. Big vessels came in and were lowered on dry dock by a water locking system, a magnificent hydraulic system. But it's built out of steel, and everybody know, even the clowns we have here know, that steel and seawater don't go hand in hand. But that system, as we do in the pipelines, was fitted with a cathodic protection. It's an electrical thing that allows a sacrificial piece of metal to erode and protect what you want to protect. But instead of maintaining that system, they allowed it to rotten, no replacement. So within a few years, all of that dry dock was corroded to the point where it became useless. They sold out most of it or gave it away as scrap iron. Friends, when you hear Dr. Friday talk about Otley Hall with that passion, his is only second to mine. Otley Hall will be developed to create quality jobs for you, the people of Otley Hall. Beyond that, we are now looking at establishing a marine school so you can be trained not just in repairing ships, but in navigation issues and allied services right there in Otley Hall for the young boys and girls of this community and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My friends, you have waited for 6-7 years to get a road coming into Edinburgh. Just because election is round the corner, they're trying to do something. But look, those of you who came in here tonight, isn't it ironic that waiting so long, you're getting that part of the road fixed, but only up to the hard coat? You see, when you start coming into Otley Hall, they think dog live over here. You want to tell me that they can't take some bitumen and fill in Kikum Jenny wrong there with 1 million holes? I know every day I drive in it on the back hurts. The people who operate the vans, they know what they're talking about. Even when you walk and they have a place to walk, they have more holes there. My friends, listen. Listen. Otley Hall, West Kingstown, St. Vincent. Under an NDP administration, there will never come the time when van drivers have to strike for a week to get 100 yards of road fixed. It will not happen because, you know, just like how NDP administration dealt with houses, and Otley Hall is a beautiful example, nature. And so many other areas, Diamond and so on. The people came and chose a spot. DEFCO brought the surveyors and they established the boundaries. Put in the roads, put in the water, put in the lights. The people built a foundation, laid some blocks. They came to the ministers and they said, we need some help. We need some sand, we need some cement, we need some blocks. The community get together in 1 weekend, they cast the whole floor. Within 6 months, they have a house with materials given not before the election when you needed it. As nature rightly told you, every quarter, and nature will know. Jeremiah Scott, God bless him, the best works minister this country has ever seen. People like Jerry and John Horn allocated sums of money by the quarter to help people to build their homes, and they never had to go to the banks and borrow money because the community came together in self-help. You know, it pains my heart when you have some wicked, big, worthless people who come in and telling you, I can give you some material, but you have to vote for me. Eh? It is so disgusting, it makes my stomach turn. My friends, you who know me, you know that the government don't give me one red penny to help you. From my own meager resources and from our works and from friends, I help people in this community, and I never ask anybody who they support. I don't want to know. If I can help you, I help you. That's how I have operated. I am proud of it, and that's the way I am. That's the way I will continue. Because that's the NDP style. It's about helping people. This community is one. They're not damn ULP or ULP. It's one, are we? Vinci. That's how I want it to come back. I want us in every community in West Kingston to start back the best village competition. Growing your own flower gardens and your kitchen garden and decenting up your place. Bringing back the pride in our community. Breaking down the barriers. Giving the policemen less work to do so they can employ them in more productive areas. When people are happy, when people have jobs, when people know that if they qualify, they will get something, it reduces the chance of crime and violence. I know what I'm telling you about. It is those kind of wicked behaviors that segregates people, that sow the seed of crime and violence. My friends, I am so happy to be part of this NDP team. I know come the next election, you're going to vote. You're not just going to vote for me. You're going to vote for yourself. Because when you vote for the New Democratic Party, I promise you, you give yourself the opportunity to find a good job. You give yourself the opportunity to find proper roads. You give yourself the opportunity to have the cost of living come down because we care. When we cut the VAT, your cost of living will come down. It's plain and simple. You have to believe it has worked in other OECS countries. When you travel, you'll see the difference between us and the rest of the countries. You have so many family members in Antigua, in Dominica, in St. Kitts, in Anguilla. Talk to them. Ask them why is it that they could do 2 and 3 jobs and making a lot of money. The economy, the economy, the economy. Their government cares about their people. These people here, they care about their own big fat belly. That's what they care about. Bunch of clowns, worthless clowns at that. The choice is clear. The choice is clear. You have Dr. Friday and a team with a plan and a mission. A plan to make your life better. You have a set of clowns on the other side who want to feed more from the gravy train at your expense. You know, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but sometimes Sometimes you really have to ask yourself. Sometimes you have to ask yourself if these criminals in office are for real. Beryl came more than a year ago and destroyed many homes in this community, including the one here from which we get electricity. More than a year passed by and they didn't do a damn thing. But they hear that Daniel Cummins coming to have a meeting on the spot. And he want to put up a tent in front today. And when they do, they come yesterday and today, and they dump sand, and they dump gravel, and they dump wood, and they dump steel. I pray to the Almighty that they will come and finish your project for you, my brother. Because their objective has nothing to do when you get in your house fixed. It's party, worthless, nasty politics they're playing. That kind of crap has to cut out. Everybody, we voted in Parliament. We supported the bill in Parliament to repair the homes that were damaged. Why you have to genuflect at big people, big, fat, dotish people to get help? That ain't right. I make no apology. Big, fat, dotish people to get help. Eh? You ain't owe them a damn thing. You ain't owe them a thing. But I tell you this, on the New Democratic Party, all lawful needs, all regular needs will be fulfilled, regardless of your politics. That's how governance should be. My friends, there are certain principles that I hold very dear to me. And that is one of them. Equality. I don't like when you take advantage of people, especially poor people. When your children watch you beg and scrunt to send them to school, to come out of primary, secondary, and tertiary, and come out looking for a job, and all they could find is a yes program to beg for. Eh? When they watch all the colleagues leaving here to go and find greener pasture. Oh, good heavens, we can do much better than that. All the other OECS countries are doing better. When you hear the New Democratic Party talk about the 4 pillars of the economy, agriculture, tourism, blue economy, new economy, it's not a joke. We've studied it. We prepared ourselves to implement it. And I know you want to hear from my friend and brother Major, but in 2 minutes, I want to tell you that they think that when you build a hospital, you're solving the health problems. It is a small piece of the puzzle. And I want to give you the promise. You know, I've been shadowing health in this country. I've made it my life study over the last 15 years. And with the help of Dr. Friday and the team, we will give you a healthcare system that will rival anything you find in the Caribbean. That is not idle talk. We will do it because it's possible, because we are prepared for it. We have the people who are ready to come in and work with us. We know that funding is available for it. We know the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are some of the best doctors and nurses all around the world. And they're willing to come back to this country to join what we have here. So my friends, your mission is clear. Make it possible. Send these clowns packing. Trample them. Give me that song. Trample them. Trample the ULP under your feet. Move them out. Bring the New Democratic Party into governance. And together, come the next election, we'll move forward.
In my cause, oh Lord.
Yes, man.
With those who strive with me.
Thank you. Good night.
Fight against those who fight against me. Hallelujah. Take up your sword, Lord. take up your spear. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. One more time, listen. Plead my cause, oh Lord, with those who strive with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Hey, hey, take up your sword, Lord. Take up your shield. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Christian, come now. Step on the enemy, step on the enemy. Crush the serpent, trample the dragon. Under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, say under my feet. Step on the enemy, step on the enemy. Crush the serpent, trample the dragon. Under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, say under my feet. Hey.
Oh yes. Yeah, let me hear it again for the representative of West Kingstown, the Honorable Daniel Cummins.
Tell me who shall I feed?
Yes, well, we're running because we have to make sure that we get in the other speaker. You know, somebody on the other side always pre-brief. And they talk so big and bad, like if they're so bad, but they're the biggest coward in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They said, as long as they were Prime Minister in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the next speaker who's going to speak will never be a representative in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, that year was 2010. I said to him, come in Central Kingstown and run against the Major if you're so bad. But the man who's so coward, he couldn't come down, even he playing bad. But in Central Kingstown, this man, the one and only, the one who is my representative, who I've been working with for the last 21 years. The man who is solid as a rock. The man who they can't bring down. The harder they come, the harder they're gonna fall. Join with me and welcome to the microphone the man, the Major, Honorable Sinclair Leacock.
My love, it's as solid as a rock, solid as a rock, solid as a rock. My love, it's as solid as a rock. I can't stop. If you're asking me, will my love ever be? Well, you know I tell you truthfully, it has got no age, no beginning nor end. Won't slip, won't slide, won't break, won't bend. Oh, let me tell you now, my love, it's as solid as a rock, solid as a rock, solid as a rock. Oh, honey, my love, it's as solid as a rock. I can't stop. If you're looking for love that will endure, when the storms of hate knocks at your door, love will stand the test of every jealous guest. The late
Otley Hall, Otley Hall, West Kingston. I have on my John Horn jersey, and that's a culture man. So the dance express are not my own, but those of my late friend, the great John Clark Horn. You know, when they put out the order of speaking tonight,
And I saw that Daniel had asked me to speak last. I said, Daniel, you know, in West Indies cricket, there's a guy called Courtney Walsh, and he was what they call the night watchman. His job was just to hold on so the team could come back the next day and bat again. And Walsh's best stroke was to leave alone. And he was flamboyant with it, you know what I mean? Not like now these days. You're long gonna make 27. So, tonight, my contribution, first of all, naturally, is to recognize, Louise is still here? Louise gone or she's still here? Well, she's probably not here. I want to recognize that I am a part of history, that our very important sister, Louise Mitchell, and I want to show you about this now because we know what we're doing. She's not a candidate in this election, but we will win the election. And she will be a member of parliament in the next government of the New Democratic Party. And with a very senior ministry as well. So guys, on the other side, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Because no if, no but, the New Democratic Party will definitely win the next general election. The people want the change. So much for my recognition of the importance of our history. But I want to really, in summary, address what my colleagues were doing before. You heard the intimacy in which Daniel, the current representative, speaks about Otley Hall. And, you know, I reflect very often that sometimes we get carried away. That we have built this port, this airport, this building, that building, and the other building. But at the end of the day, what do our people really want in St. Vincent de Grenadines? I think simply they just want to live a better life. They want a better life. And I'm saying that whether we have pillars or pillows, that St. Vincent can be a much nicer place to be. And what we in the New Democratic Party must do and keep that focusing on is making this country a better, happier place for all Vincentians to live and enjoy themselves. Now that could be translated in many ways. If you want people to live better, they want to work. They want work. They want a change because they want better jobs, better paying jobs, and more people having jobs. Now let's not go very far away. Because you're very lucky, or can be very lucky here in Otley Hall. There are very, very, very few villages and communities in St. Vincent that when you get up in the morning, you can stay in the village or the community that you are living and make $1 and feed, clothe, and take care of yourself. Otley Hall provides that great opportunity. You know, 2 evenings ago, I was in the headquarters, and Louise was presenting to us candidates, executive members, and senior party members on what we refer to as the blue economy. The blue economy just means the sea water. That's where the color blue come from. And she was talking not just about fishing, as my brother Buck, I hope I call his name right, was interested in or speaking about. But she's talking about the Otley Hall Marina. She's talking about all life that can be coming from the sea, yachting and this, that, and the other. The truth be told, that is a $5 billion industry, billion with a B. So that if, as the New Democratic Party promises, and Dr. Friday is so excited and passionate about, we set about to do what Sir James wanted to do in the first instance and had made good progress on it. And 25 years later, his daughter has to come back to take up what they destroyed. Every man, woman, boy or girl or adult wanting a job to look after and build their family can stay right here in Otley Hall and get up and know they can go down there and have a job. Whether it is as cook, whether it is as welder, painter, electrician, mechanic, sell this, sell that, whatever it is, this Otley Hall can provide you with all of the jobs to make your life better. I'm saying that to emphasize that singularly, you don't need to do one other thing in Otley Hall to make your life better than to return Daniel Waterman Cummins to office and ensure that the New Democratic Party is running the affairs of state in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Because we don't have a lot of time tonight to deal with it. But just look at how St. Vincent is constructed. Look at it simple. The morning breaks and everybody leaves from where they're living. Whether you're in Georgetown, to head to town. If you're in Chateaubriand, to head to town. Did they finish? You go back home. Why can't we have jobs and opportunities in the various communities around this country that have agriculture in the land, that have the sea for fisheries, that have tourism, that have so many things that can create growth and development than we have now? But alas, that is not the case. 25 years after, with a Unity Labour Party, it's undoubtedly the truth that St. Vincent is the worse off than when they came to office. They would like us to believe that St. Vincent was discovered in the year 2001. So let's assume for a moment that they were right. That after all, Ralph was a modern day Christopher Columbus. Let's assume that. Let's grant him that. He is the modern day Christopher Columbus. And he has been running this country for 25 years. Well, you call him a pirate. St. Vincent says, simple, see me and come live with me. It's two different things. 25 years after, Ralph has singularly destroyed and or got rid of every person in the Unity Labour Party who could have succeeded him. Rainier went, Straker went, Mike Grung went, Gurley Miguel went, everybody went. And the only person on the Unity Labour Party ticket in 2025 who is fit enough to run again is Ralph Gonzalez. Just think about it. And who does he have in mind as his backup and replacement? His son. Well, there's a decision right there for you in Otley Hall. There is the contrast, and it was made here tonight. Louise Mitchell, many times brighter than his son, the daughter of Sir James. He could have taken her. He could have said, you will be my replacement in Beckway. He didn't do that. He could have sent her to Union Islands to go to the Southern Grenadines. He didn't do that. He allowed her to chart her own destiny and to decide upon herself what she would want to make as a political contribution to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And look at it. Look at the decency. She took her time. She came into the New Democratic Party. She asked for no favors. She contested for a constituency. She did not succeed. And did she go away? No! She stayed right in the constituency and she put her talent and profession at the disposal of the New Democratic Party to see the dreams and the vision of her party and of Yusuf's party, and now Friday's party come true. That's a difference. What does the other guy want? What does the other guy want? And take me seriously as this. The Unity Labour Party under Ralph Everett Gonzalez will go down in history as the most corrupt government ever seen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Most corrupt. I say always, because he could send the black squad, blue squad, yellow squad tomorrow to lock me up. The day that they lose office, they will be charged for misbehavior in public office. Because he cannot take me to any court. He has spent monies of this government unlawfully. You know what the word unlawfully means? He spent it without the approval of the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And not once, not twice. And today, the elections of 2025 is the audit of all audit. To see what was going on. You know what I mean by that? You know what I mean? Countess Zion, it means that they are mortally afraid to be out of government. And that is why you're saying they're doing the most ridiculous things. And it's as if the man is blight. His mouth is on everybody. And I think the PRO of the party got it right. I have never, in my so many years of life in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, seen so much bad-mindedness. The man does not wish good for anybody. Daniel is the worst thing ever. 20 years ago, Major did this, Major did that, and the other. Today, he has shallow in the craw. Patel was a damn digger. Now, Shallow is supposed to be a little black boy. Vinnie Frederick was a snotty nose this. Bramble was the other. He always had the worst name and opinions of everybody other than his picnic them. And what have they done? Do so not like so. If we were to take time to speak about them, then we would all have to keep a dignified silence. That's what would happen. But it's going to happen. The people are determined in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Daniel is the representative duly elected, not once, not twice, not three times, and soon to be the fourth time for West Kingstown. You heard Bramble of good stock speak about his success in East Kingstown. And he has grown the economy on the foundation that Arnhem Eustace left him. And the Major is solid as a rock. I call those three Kingstown seats deliberately because nature, who is our close neighbor, is just the same. The largest number of votes. He can't touch us. He can't touch us. He can't touch us. I have to say this thing right. You understand what I mean? Again, a song like Zion, you know. You understand? You know what I mean? You know? But look, in this country of ours, in a New Democratic Party government, the representatives of the Kingstown seats and South Leeward have always been somebody and something. Always. John Horn acted as Prime Minister here. Arnhem Eustace was a Prime Minister. Carl Dugan was an Attorney General. Eddie Griffith was a Deputy Prime Minister. Jerry Scott was a senior member of the New Democratic Party. Contrast the others. In Ralph's government, Ken Boy, according to Ralph, didn't know what he wanted grave being. Say he spent 10 years, he never became a minister of government, much less to act. Julian Francis, who was not elected, served for 10 plus years. He's at home now on poor people's money on a pension, earning as a sick man income to advise the government on his sick bed. God help them. So I guarantee you that in the New Democratic Party, just as Daniel was the most successful member ever of the Water Authority in St. Vincent and one of the Caribbean. And I was 11 years in Vinlec. And Fitz was a diplomat, a nature, a sports administrator and educator, and a community developer, all the way from our youth arm. We will be foundational members. We will be the members who will see that the New Democratic Party hits the ground running. And what we say is what we will do. We will transform this country for all times. Good jobs and decency for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I promise you that. Light and hard coats, playing fields. Daniel, when they talk about down here, age is wisdom, you know. I once wore the uniform. I was once a military man in this country. And I used to train down there to do jungle training in that Utley Hall there, where we live in the bushes for days before we come. But there's been no national development in this country. It's been Ralph himself and I. And when he can't have his way, then no damn dog bark. And he is at the point now, so, you know, generally speaking, Ralph, I trust you're listening to me. You do get the note. This is the major speaking to you. Something is radically wrong with you. And the people around you must tell you that you're mental. You're out of your mind. You're insane. Nobody with such regularity cost the Prime Minister of Trinidad today, of Barbados tomorrow, Antigua the next day, St. Kitts the other day. Every Monday morning, Massey, you dip on somebody's business. Mind your own. Look at the Georgetown. Look at the constituency that you took over. It is the same place. I ask a simple question as I close, you know. Because thousands of people, I am told, came here to St. Vincent. But I guarantee you, there is no village, not one single village in St. Vincent that has improved in 25 years of government under Unity Labour. None of them. The drivers in shafts went on strike 4 weeks ago, and they're struggling 4 weeks after to still, Ingrid, ain't true? They're still struggling to fill the holes and to give them decent roads. Whether they're coming through Murray Village, whether they're coming through Green Hill, whether they're coming through shops, every road network is in poor disrepair. The government is broke and broke to teeth. And all they do is blinding you and creating the impression. In this constituency, somebody is going to come up against Daniel. My twin brother say, yeah, sure. And it will happen in other constituencies. I leave you with this, Diki. I leave you with this. There is a difference between the people, the candidates who are offering themselves to serve St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We believe that flesh is not better than flesh. We are all the same. All the same handmade. The difference only is that of opportunity. That's our feelings. Daniel carried things on his head, whether it's a sweet potato pudding or whatever it is. I joke things from my head. Bramble struggle, Bruce struggle, this struggle, that struggle. In the Unity Labour Party, you have a breed of people who are coming forward who feel they have an entitlement that they are naturally better than the rest of us. Nonsense. That they have privileges that we should not have. Nonsense. And you must explain to the people of this country what has been so special in your own household that you can produce a child or children who have never one day set foot to work in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and can have mountains of money, and the people who have struggled 24/7 all the days of their life can't buy tablets, medication, or education for their children. It can't be right. Not in the sight of God. This is an election to restore St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have built St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so that no longer we will be trampled upon and abused by an arrogant, out of shape, nasty, worthless, iniquitous. I better stop there. Good night.
Oh yes, oh yes. I tell you, you can't beat the major. You can't beat the major. Can't beat him at all. Yes, let me hear it again for the Honorable Major Sinclair Leacock. Yes, we are coming to the end of our meeting. That was our final speaker. So we just want to remind you of the fair at the Nutrition Netball Center on Emancipation Day. That's the 4th of August. You got to be down there, be a part of the action. We want to thank all of you who came out, those of you listening at home, those who gave us a current and so on. We thank everybody for such a beautiful meeting, for having us in Otley Hall where we can bring the message of hope to you. And remember, on election day, go to the polls, put your X next to the key, and elect the New Democratic Party to govern SP3. Good night and God bless you. At this time we're going to sing the doxology. Ingrid and the others, you all come and join us so we can sing the doxology as we go home. I see our Young Dems president is here too as well, so come and join us and let us sing the doxology as we go.
Look, this thing, Ingrid is singing. Do you hear this thing? Oh, that's Ingrid.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Good night. God bless you. Get home safely. Have a good night. See you next time if it is the will of the Lord.
Hotting up the head of some them college Sonians and meat. And Bishop tell me who put me soul on dead already. It's we make them wicked pirates have the train hijack.